Hi there, and welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about some fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm still the father, Jim. Nice to have you with us here today for another one of our Wheel of Time deep dive episodes, as we've got 2 chapters for you today on the Fires of Heaven.
But before we get into that, how you doing, Dad?
I'm doing fine-ish.
Ooh,
This was the first day back to work after a week of vacation.
fair enough.
Your mother and I had actually been gone for 2 weeks because the first week was we were off at a conference. I was at the conference. She was just vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to see Portland, Maine, which was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flight back, stopped and visit your sister in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, where it was hot and there were lots
Oh
of
yeah,
bugs.
sure, you betcha.
But it was still nice to see your sister and other family members that were back there. But we got home this morning, like due to delay and a lost bag.
Whose
and
bag?
One of mine got lost, and they still haven't called me
They
yet.
still haven't found it?
No, it's not even been 24 hours yet. So they say most bags are recovered within the first 48 hours. I'm like, okay,
That's
this
still
has
a
never
while
happened
without
to
your
me.
bag.
Yeah. Now, on the good side, it's my small bag that was full of nothing but dirty laundry
Okay,
from the
that's good.
first week of the trip. Okay.
Nice.
Although I'd also shoved my gym shoes in there because
So you're not
I
doing
was
much
wearing
walking.
I was wearing nothing but sandals the second week, so I didn't need the gym shoes. So yeah, my gym shoes are lost right now, which
I mean,
sucks.
it could be an excuse to get a new pair. I'm sure they're dying.
No, these are still pretty
These are
good.
really pretty new ones.
Newish, but I didn't need new ones yet. So man, so
Mm.
I need that to show up. Plus, I could only wash half my laundry because
You only had to wash half your laundry.
yeah, okay, silver linings. There you go. But delays and lost stuff and stuff. We didn't get home last night and into bed till like 2:30. It was crazy, and then up again at 6:30. So it was a short night, and yet I'm surprisingly fresh and going strong today.
At least for now. We'll see how well you are by the end of the episode.
There you go. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Rolly's been a little bit of a brat here and there in terms of deciding that he needs to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, but that's what kids do, I guess.
Bladder control issues.
And I mean, I don't blame
more
him
the
that much
older
when he
that do
just
that.
chose not to eat through most of the day, so we let him eat at night, and well, now he needs to go use the bathroom at night. So I'm just happy he's eating. On the other side, we did something interesting yesterday, which is to say we beta tested an escape room because Rachel just meets people and talks about things, and so that was a fun opportunity.
Sure.
It was a little humorous, though, because we're awful people, and it was under the sea themed, so there were a lot of topical submarine jokes.
Oh,
yeah.
They were imploding everywhere.
Yeah.
No.
We're bad people.
Titanically horrible.
You're bad people, too.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. You're drinking something. I can see you're drinking something. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking something I don't think I've drank on the podcast before, which is a little surprising, considering it's like a young person staple. I'm drinking a vodka Red Bull.
Okay. I've never heard of a vodka Red Bull, so it must be a young person staple, not we oldie folks. I, after 2 weeks away, unable to have one, made a nice Long Island iced tea today.
Okay, hold on. Unable to have one or unable to make one at your own bar?
Mostly that one.
Yeah, like, are you telling me you went 2
anywhere
weeks
else
without having one anywhere else?
They don't make them well enough. So, yeah.
I will confess, it took me like 3 days into you being with family to realize that, you're close to family. you're not just visiting Melissa, not just my sister, but there were more people. And it wasn't
Lots more
until I saw
people.
on our Fantasy for the Ages Discord that you were with other family that I realized. I went, oh yeah, they could
Yeah,
visit the other family there.
Your mother was kind of in trouble for that because she kind of forgot to mention we were coming. They'd kind of heard through the grapevine, maybe through Melissa or something. So are they gonna come see us? Or
It's
so we did, of
okay.
course. We spent all of Monday with her family, and then the 4th there was a picnic, and we spent a good chunk of time there. And then the 5th we went all morning and into the early afternoon. So
at the end of the day, no matter how bad y'all are in that doghouse, I'm worse because I wasn't there, and I have not been there in a little while.
You don't have to be there every time. It's all right. Anyways.
Yes.
We've done our drinking and we've checked up with each other. Let's hit some notes here. We just got a few things that are kind of fun and cool.
Cool.
YouTube, the numbers keep climbing. I mean, man, they are rocketing up now. In the last 4 weeks, we've added more than 80 subscribers.
Amazing.
Yeah. I looked a little earlier today and we were right at 365. So one for every day of the year. And then someone else subscribed. So
now we're a leap year.
Exactly. And I'm just peeking again because, man, these numbers, they climb so fast these days. It's really
I'm not
fun.
complaining. I am not complaining.
No, we're not complaining at all.
Speaking of numbers,
still 366.
Numbers climbing. I don't see it in your notes, but you sent me another interesting number this past week about Twitter, I think.
I did. I'll move on to Twitter in just a second. I still had a little more on YouTube to note.
Oh yeah, we're fluid.
Well, part of our recent growth was, you had mentioned this Silo trilogy, and that there was a show, and I was like, oh, I should try those. So I read those books, plowed through those books, did little book, reaction videos to each one. Well, then when Silo on Apple TV finished with its cliffhanger and people wanted to know, they started searching for things. And people found those videos. And my book 3 one on Dust, which reveals some spoilers about book 1 and book 2, which is all content, book 1 is really where the show content came from. It's over 2,400 views now. It's our single highest video at this point. And the other 2 are doing pretty good too. So, but I got some comments. We want more spoilers. Okay, these are spoiler light episodes. They aren't intended to spoil. So I did drop a new episode related to Silo today.
Oh my goodness, we're breaking the system.
That's just pure, okay, you wanted it? I'm going to ruin it all for you. So in about 13 minutes, I just kind of explained everything that they were curious about from season 1 with big disclaimers. If you don't want to be your surprises messed up, do not watch this video.
Basically, if you are a regular content consumer who likes our style usually, go away because you're not going to like this as we're about to spoil everything.
Right. So we'll see how that does. It's been live for an hour or so, and it's got 5 views. It hasn't exactly caught on yet, but give it time. And if you're watching this now and you want to know all the secrets,
it's been there more than an hour. If you're watching,
go check it out now. Go check it out. Okay, so that was fun. Twitter. As Twitter is collapsing under Elon Musk's poor management.
Correct.
We broke the 1,000 follower barrier. So
there still are at least 1,000 people who have accounts, not necessarily that are on Twitter, but at least that still have accounts.
Right. In fact, we're at 1,006 as of this recording, which is great. That many people hanging out with us. I did open a Threads account for us too now, just in case Twitter dies and Threads is the new thing.
Prepared for whatever is becoming known.
Yep.
In
so we're not really
similar format,
doing much other than finding people, following them back on Threads right now. But we're prepping, just in case.
We're doomsday prepping, The apocalypse already happened. We're just seeing whether or not it's survivable.
We're social media preppers. That's how we got on Mastodon. Now we're on Twitter. I don't know
Yeah,
why we're still on Facebook.
just in case. It could be a revival. It won't be, but it could
Yeah.
be.
Now, are you on Instagram personally?
Yeah, I haven't posted in like 2.5 years,
Okay. All right.
but I'm
Well,
on it.
I
I just
found out
saw
an
today,
interesting thing.
I think I just saw something through Instagram where I was like, I think this friend of mine, I thought they were married. I'm not sure they're married anymore.
Wow, that was fast.
No, it'd been like a few years or something, but it still was something where I just like, I don't know. I should
Mhm.
catch up with that person.
Well, if you decide to open a personal Threads account, be aware you can't change your mind and delete it without losing your Instagram because they link. So all your Instagram followers automatically become Threads followers, but then if you want to cancel Threads, it cancels Instagram, which is kind
Mm.
of a glitch that they didn't warn people about, but they're trying. Whatever. Okay, last thing before we talk about Wheel of Time, update on books. Um,
Yes.
Let me update mine because all of mine are sitting in
Do it.
front of us on the screen,
Boom, boom,
actually.
boom, boom.
Yeah, so I finished Memories of Ice, Malazan 3. It was incredible, the best one yet. Right below me on the screen is book 2 of King Killer Chronicle, The Wise Man's Fear. I took a break from listening to that for almost 2 weeks while I was traveling. I was just too busy. Didn't have
Mm.
time really. But I started again today and it picked right up where I left off. It's still fantastic.
Okay.
Way over there, Night Angel Nemesis. That was sitting home. So I didn't touch that for 2 weeks, but
It
I
was
could
too
read a
big,
little of
too
that.
heavy. You
Way
didn't
too
want to
big and way
travel
too
with
heavy.
it.
Yeah.
You're not like me who travels with most of his weight in allotted being books.
But while Memories of Ice was almost done, Brandon Sanderson's way in the corner there. Next secret novel dropped July 1st, the Kindle version, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. And I read all of that in 2 days. It's not a very long book, but it is quite a good book, even though romance is involved. It was still a good book. I'm going to do some content on it, book blast, review, something, maybe this weekend. So I enjoyed it very much and moved right on to the one that's then right in the center that you can't really read, but if you know the picture, you know what it is. We Break Immortals. Thomas Riley's first book in the Advent Lumina cycle. I think it's the only book out. And it's quite good. I'm reading it because Spence over at the Fantasy Files challenged me to read it. It was down on my TBR farther up. He won a little challenge, so it went up higher, and it's quite good.
Nice.
That's what I'm reading. How about you?
I don't think I have quite as many things to run through, but I do have a couple of things. Notably, I am officially, we're like halfway through the year, right? I have met my reading goal for the year. Last year I did 30 books, so this year was 30. I'm at 35 now.
Yay!
And
way to
well
knock it out.
over 1,000 more pages than I did last year.
Good.
But books I've finished recently, we finished up Cain's Law. So the Acts of Cain are all done now.
Oh, knocked it out. Good.
I enjoyed it. I can see a lot of people potentially not loving it. I really liked it.
Okay.
And so there's plenty of room for discourse on that one. I also read this book that was sent to us.
Yes, that's still waiting for me to read. Like it's coming very soon.
It was a very different, interesting, like pace, tone, vibe. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it for like most of it. But in
you
the
got
end,
through
it was like, yeah, no, I got through it. And in the end, I was like, you know what? It was fine. It was good. Am I dying to read more about it? Not necessarily. But I don't regret reading it. And
now, our
it's fine.
podcast only listeners have no idea what you're talking about because you didn't name the book.
Yes, it's A Wizard's Dream. I'm not going to try and pronounce the author's name. I would butcher it.
Yeah, he's in South Africa, I think, but he's actually of European descent, and it's a very Eastern European type name.
I'm bad at whatever origin this name comes from, and I am so sorry.
But
if you want me to pronounce it correctly, please send me a guide because I'm bad.
So if you're listening and you want to know who the author was, come look at the video for a moment. Zach did hold the book up on the screen.
Yeah, you're not gonna see it. It's really dark on that picture.
What else, Zach?
I've started now the next book in the Expanse, so Nemesis Games. Just a few chapters into that one, but
nice.
It's looking good so far. And then in paper copy, have just started a book that's been sitting on my shelf for like a year and a half, and I've been meaning to read it. I've got the entire trilogy. I plan to blow through it. The Poppy War.
Yeah, that's way down on my TBR still. Okay, cool. I'll be interested in what you think.
But I think that's everything to update since the last time I had mentioned.
All right, yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into the Fires of Heaven then.
Let's do it.
We're on, and I've got a typo right here off the bat. We're on chapter 47, not 44, like it says in my notes.
44, Vin.
No, we're definitely chapter 47, The Price of a Ship. And we begin back with Nynaeve, Elaine, Tom, Julin, this group of activity again. Specifically, Nynaeve's point of view kicks us off, and we see her and Elaine being very catty at each other. We learn 3 days have gone by since Masema and Galad both offered to arrange for a ship for them to get out of Samara, and nothing's happened.
I think offered might be too kind of a word. Both of them told Nynaeve that they were going to find a boat for her, and she said, "Yes, you're going to find a boat for me." To both,
she kind of leveraged both of them into saying they would.
Yeah, it was less like an offer and an agreement or a negotiation. It was more just like people bullying each other into doing what you want or letting me do it for you. When everyone really was just trying to help, kind of.
Now, with just waiting and nothing happening, why would Nynaeve be so irritable?
Oh, because she has to perform every day.
That would be one thing. She definitely does not like that.
But that's the reason she's not thinking about. The reason she's not voicing is that she has to keep doing these shows, keep wearing this dress. Other reasons that she's actually going to be telling Elaine include like every day that we stay here is another day that Gideon can be searching for us because she knows we're with this traveling carnival group. Every day we're here is a day we're stuck with these rising tensions in the city that we have to deal with, and it's another day further. Every day we're here is another day that Masema or Galad might change their minds and do something underhanded with us. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances that waiting is not good, and Nynaeve doesn't do good waiting.
We're finding that Elaine doesn't necessarily do well waiting either, or perhaps she doesn't do well with Nynaeve's waiting.
Yeah, I think Elaine doesn't do well with Nynaeve being annoyed.
They are snipping at each other, poking jibes at each other. And in the midst of an kind of an entertaining way Robert Jordan writes this conversation, they both stumble over the fact that they've been having Egwene appear in their dreams. And they realize it's been like identical Egwene with identical communication at them. So like it's really been Egwene in their dreams. They had no idea about this.
They're realizing that Egwene isn't just meeting with them in Tel'aran'rhiod and Riyadh to talk about things anymore, but rather Egwene is projecting herself into their dreams and giving communications that way. Stuff that we've seen from Egwene's side a little bit, but is showing that she's kind of being better at her whole dreamer thing.
Yeah, definitely a leveling up of Dreamwalker abilities. Now, they share notes, and this is where they can connect with the fact that they've got the same information from Egwene, some bits and pieces. What are the sort of things that they do learn from her?
I'm going to be brief here first, and then we'll actually go into it. They learn what we did in the last few chapters.
Yeah,
which, if you weren't paying attention / weren't with us for the last few chapters, Rand and the Aiel have succeeded in Cairhien. They defeated the Shido and Couladin. They now are kind of occupying the city, but not necessarily in like an occupying the city kind of way, but kind of, yeah. Rand also like
overdid it.
yeah, but he's not dead, so there's
No.
that.
He's recovered. They learned there was a little extra behind what took a lot of out of Rand, and that had to do with a Forsaken, perhaps. Though they're questioning whether it really could be. What Forsaken did they hear?
They're
Wayne saying who?
Pretty sure that it's like Samael, and then they're like, "What is it?" And I mean, probably.
Yeah. One toss in almost throwaway line is that Egwene recognized finally the little short staff that Rand's been flaunting around at his dragon scepter, and that it's a Shanshan spear, or at least part of a Shanshan spear. And Nynaeve and Elaine are like, really? But then their minds do go to what? How might he have come upon a Shanshan
like,
spear?
Well, we know a Shanshan. She works with the elephants. Sorry, Shreddit. There's Shanshan around. There was a Guinan. We knew her. There's a number of Shanshan that are just still around. Maybe someone is still around, or there was a Shanshan on the run who had to sell their spears or something, and that got passed around.
So
none of them really stumbling upon the fact that Avienda and Rand kind of discovered traveling again, kind of.
And definitely Elaine's mind doesn't go to what Rand and Avienda did just before getting hold of that spear.
Nah.
Oh, if only we were.
Though Elaine's mind probably does go to what she would like to do with Rand to help him recover.
Does it have to do with his spear?
Yep.
Stop! Okay.
Sorry, he carries a sword. Got it.
Okay. Now,
do you think it's a short sword or a long sword? Sorry.
Stop. Wow.
Curved scimitar?
This is bad. Okay. These are all things that they've shared notes they've learned about. But something else we get, because we're in Nynaeve's point of view, is that she's really stuck on thinking about Moghedien. Ever since that incident with her and Birgitta facing Moghedien that went badly, Nynaeve's basically terrified she's going to run into Moghedien again in Teleron Riyadh. So it's changed up how they've been using their dream ter'angreal. They have been going in at the appointed times to meet Egwene, but no other time. Before that, they were, popping in, seeing what they might find out, what kind of research Birgitta could do for them, which of course isn't happening anymore.
Basically, the Moghedien encounter taught them the lesson that the wise ones were trying to teach them, that Teleron Riyadh is scary, and you shouldn't mess around there.
But did it?
Not really.
Nynaeve is scared. She doesn't admit she's scared. She refers to herself as being cautious, justifiably cautious. But Elaine thinks Nynaeve is overreacting. Who's right here?
But, I mean, at the end of the day, what do they think? What are they doing? Elaine may think Nynaeve is overreacting, but she's also still currently respecting it and not going into the dream willy-nilly.
Do you want to be thumped?
Nah, especially not when I'm sleeping.
All right, so they've been talking about these things, and it's not exactly gotten amicable again. They're very quickly, again, poking at each other. Things about appearance, about the skimpy stuff Elaine's wearing, and Nynaeve's prudishness, and any weak spots. They're easily nagging at each other when Birgitta walks in and instantly jumps right into the jibing, poking at Nynaeve, who pokes right back, and they start going at each other so badly, Elaine has to shout them down.
Well, we're glad that Nynaeve's not walking on as many eggshells anymore.
At least, she's irritable enough to let that go for a little bit. Now, Birgitta does share. She didn't come in just to be irritable, to stir the pot. She wanted to let them know that Tom and Julian were back from town. And Nynaeve and Elaine kind of do a take. It's like, what? What do you mean back? They had no knowledge the guys had gone to town, and in fact, Nynaeve's like, they had no business going to town, so out she marches to give them what for. And what do they find?
Uh, they find that they've already received what for from something, somewhere. They look rough. Why is it that like every time Tom and Julian are in the scouting group for them, it's because the city is totally in a state of unrest and it's like unsafe to go out?
I think it's kind of their shtick. You know, they go, they get beat up, they come back. That's how it works.
Yeah, I don't think it should work that way. You don't have to get beat up to learn things.
They might be doing it wrong.
I think there need to be better rogues. They need to be stealthier, you know?
Now, Nynaeve's like, why would you go to town? What in the world were you thinking? And they had a reason to go into town.
Yeah, it's just, the reason that there are already two powerful people in town doing things. They're also looking for a boat.
Okay, but it's been 3 days and no progress. So why would the guys try to go find a boat themselves?
Because at that point, they're like, okay, we're sick of the fact that there's no boat, as well as, okay, what if these guys aren't actually getting us a boat like they say, or they're getting a boat and then they're trying to maneuver so that they have leverage rather than letting us actually get on a boat.
That is all entirely possible, but I have a different theory.
Go for it.
I don't think they could stand the women anymore. For the love of the wheel, please make it stop. We've got to find a boat. I think that's what drove them to town.
On the one hand, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. On the other hand, we also see time and time again, Tom and Julian have a habit of doing things when they're told not to because they want to feel useful. That's continually are trying things even when they're told, like, no, don't do that. Or, hey, you don't have to worry about that. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to. We're going to keep watch anyways. We're going to go in and see about getting vegetables and food and all this stuff because they want to do something. So I think sitting around on their asses for 3 days while other people are supposedly doing things for them rubs them just as badly. And so they're sitting here going...
maybe the women aren't the only irritable ones.
Yeah, and so they're like, we've been sitting here unable to do anything. I want to do something to help.
Well, now we hear from them why they are so banged up, because apparently the town is in an uproar. There's mobs of Dragonsworn roaming the streets, hunting dark friends, and anyone else who's not swearing to the Dragon Reborn and groveling in his name. It's getting pretty ugly.
It doesn't help that there's also Children of the Light going around and swearing people are dark friends and stringing them up, and same story.
But that's not what they're bringing back as the cause of the chaos right now. Yes, that was certainly the case before. We know that. So it wasn't as bad when they first went to town, but it's been getting worse and worse. There's even some fires showing as you look. And Julian's like, okay, once the flames start, it's all downhill here really fast. It's time to go.
If they don't have a good fire brigade, I know they're on a river. They're not putting those out very quickly.
Nynaeve's like, well, you may have a point. I will take it under advisement. I mean, she's not taking orders from Julian, okay? Especially when they just didn't listen to her and went to town without permission. So, little pettiness maybe, because it's probably a good idea to get out of here.
Yeah, Nynaeve, if your pride gets you burnt, you will regret it.
But then Uno shows up, changes the situation. He's found a ship.
Hey, we'll take it.
Yes! Okay. He says, there's one issue, though. To get to the ship, we got to get through all the riots in the city. There's like a lot of mobs between us and the docks. We might want to consider a different option.
And Nynaeve says, no, that's our option. We're doing it. We're doing it. Basically.
He's like, but you don't understand. Masima has now basically declared war on Amadisha. He's sending his Dragonsworn across the river. It's getting crazy out here now. This is just not a good time. Not a good time. And they lay it on really thick on him then. Nynaeve, Elaine, even Brigida gets in on this. They say, okay, we hear you, but you're Shanaran. And you have your men with you, 15 Shanaran at your disposal, and we know how well you've served. The Shanarans are famous for never backing down, for fighting against unthinkable numbers and being strong and courageous. We know you can take us through. It's pretty thick.
Yeah. Is this about when Masima reveals the little piece of information he's been withholding here?
Not Masima. You said Masima. You meant Uno.
Sorry, Uno. Uno's been holding this bag. My bad. Names are
yes.
rough when you're drinking.
This is man, it's the Red Bull stuff, dude. I mean, vodka Red Bull, that's the problem. Caffeine, alcohol.
No, it's the assumption that this is the first alcoholic thing I've had tonight.
So, what's the thing that's revealed?
Oh yeah, they didn't find it first, which is a dumb thing to me because I'm like, okay, there was a boat coming. Didn't everybody like? Okay, it's not hidden.
Your memory's a little off, actually. They did find it first. They found it before it even made it to town. And Galad made arrangements and paid the captain that I've got 2 people I want to get on your ship. But then when it got to dock, Galad left 2 of his white cloaks there.
Okay, here's where we've got an issue. We're not talking about Galad and white cloaks yet.
Oh, crap.
So I'm not misremembering.
I got myself
I'm reading
totally
your notes
messed
correctly.
Up. Oh, okay.
Timeline. We're talking with Uno.
Well, no,
names are hard.
Now look at the notes.
Yeah, Galad shows up after the thing that we're talking about.
No. There's a paragraph of notes in between here. This is where we're getting messed up. Masima found the ship.
Yeah.
But white cloaks found it first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right there in the notes.
White cloaks got there first. We haven't talked about Galad yet. Galad has not entered the scene yet.
Right. I just got 3 sentences out of order. And this is the great quality content you get at Fantasy for the Ages.
And you know what?
Support us on Patreon.
Honestly, the mess that we're having with this chapter right now is kind of apropos. Because they're having a mess with this chapter.
It is. I struggled to create the notes to just tell this succinctly because the women are being so catty that it's very distracting.
The men aren't being very helpful either. It's just everyone like throwing their tidbits and it's like, okay, is this useful, actionable information?
Right.
No, you're telling us that you had it, but now you don't have it, but now you do have it, and now there's people fighting, and now we have to fight to get through this thing.
Yes, and that's the crux of what we really need to nail down here. Because why are there riots in the city at all?
Nynaeve.
Because Masima found the ship, but the White Cloaks already had it. The White Cloaks are holding the docks, keeping the Prophet's forces back. So there's all-out war against White Cloaks by the Dragon Sword now. And the Prophet has declared them open season because they're holding the ship he wants.
I'll tell you, 3 people know whose fault this is. Nynaeve knows.
One's looking
Uno
very
knows.
sheepish, and the other 2 are looking.
And I think Reagan knows. Is that the right person?
No. Elaine and Brigida know too.
Did Nynaeve tell everything?
To them,
at least
she
enough.
did fess up to them.
So there are like 5 people who know.
They're like, really?
At least 5.
And we're in Nynaeve's point of view. So she's like, it's not like they warned me that this was even a possibility this could happen.
Okay, who was going to warn you? But also, you send 2 powerful people who hate each other and have armies to do the same task, and neither can let the other accomplish the task if they're going to accomplish it.
Yeah.
It's so not like you said, let's burn the boat. No, we need to secure it.
Let's add Galad to this situation now.
Let's get him in here. Get a pretty boy in.
Right as Nynaeve's going to have to fess up to this, her kind of being responsible for this mess, Galad shows up in plain clothes saying, I have a ship. It's like, yeah, we know already, dude. And Elaine is furious that he's holding a ship and basically starting a war over it.
Okay, I just need to clarify. He's in like normal clothing, correct?
Yes, plain clothes. Yes.
Cool. My brain was like, isn't plain clothes as one word another term for underwear?
No, that's short clothes.
I don't know. My brain was like, I want to clarify that he's not wearing
Picture
his
him in his underwear if it works for you.
Honestly, maybe it's more distracting and better armor than if he was wearing full armor.
Yeah, nobody could do anything. They're like, oh, Galad.
Just Galad in his boxers running around with a sword.
Enough.
It's fanfic now.
Briefs guy. Come on, he's a briefs guy.
I don't know.
So Elaine's upset with him. He's held onto this boat. He won't let Massima's people at it. He's forcibly holding the docks with his troops. How could you do this? And for Galad, he's like, it's the only thing I could do.
Yeah. And this
Why?
isn't fair to Galad either, because Elaine's going to be upset with him no matter what. Elaine doesn't like him.
True.
Like, that's not a fair thing. But also, Galad has orders to be where he is, to be dealing with the prophet and this stuff and keeping things at bay. And he's also got limited numbers, as well as he was tasked by Nynaeve and took it upon himself to secure them this boat. So he's doing what he can do.
Yeah. And he even says, I don't know why Massima would want it, but certainly it's not to let you get on.
That's actually exactly why.
It's exactly, yeah. So they come up with a plan. Okay, Galad and his white cloaks need to hold the ship, and then Uno and his Shanarans will get the group through the riots to the ship. And Galad's like, have no fear. My troops will be able to hang on to it. We just need to get there. So Galad's planning to help them get there.
And at that point, that means we've solved one of the issues. We have to fight through the riots. We don't have to fight through the white cloaks.
Right. They
we
have
just fight through the riots to the white cloaks, and then Galad says, yeah, take them. You're good. Go.
So Nynaeve's like, okay, we need to get ready to go. Uno, go get your guys. Galad, go make sure your guys hold on to the dock and know we're coming. Everybody's get ready to go. And then, as they all scatter, Valen Luca shows up.
What's he want?
Well, he's trying to get his whole menagerie to leave as well. He sees the city burning. He's like, this is not a good place to stick around when riots are burning down the town.
I mean, especially when he does have someone who deals in explosives with him.
And he's saying to his people, just grab the essentials. We're not taking everything. We have to go now. But he's come to Nynaeve, Nana, and says, I need a word. She's like, I'm kind of busy. No, I need a word now, private. Okay, so she, allows herself to be guided off to the side with him. And what ensues is both hilarious and actually slightly touching.
I don't really find it touching. It just kind of is.
Slightly. Not very, just slightly. Okay, what happens? What is this about? What does he want to say?
He gets a little simpy as he begs for her to stay with him indefinitely. He'd love her company babies. And further, and wow, that got way cruder, way faster than I expected.
That's what he does. It goes right there.
But it is true. He'd love to marry her one day, maybe, and they'd have beautiful babies together and all that stuff. And no,
I thought it was funny how it stumbles into marriage, because he's like, yes, stay with me, and she's like, why? Oh, so we can have beautiful babies together. And she's like, married? And he's like, oh yeah, let's do that. He wasn't actually thinking that part, but that's where she wants to go. He literally says, I've never married anyone before.
Which makes me wonder, has he had babies with someone before?
Yeah. You gotta wonder. Valen Luca, man.
Are we gonna stumble upon a town somewhere where someone has a knife around their neck ready for him? Like,
nice. Now, of course, Nynaeve shoots him down, but kind of not too roughly. And partly she does it by saying, alas. She doesn't use the word alas. I'm just going there. I'm already betrothed. Say what?
This is simultaneously a valid reason and a bad way to say it. Because it is a valid reason to say you're already engaged or whatever. But you say, no, I have a partner. Not, I'm sorry, I have a partner. Because if you say, I'm sorry I have a partner, you're saying, I would love to, but this person is holding me back. That's not okay.
Now, there's also the bit, though, where Luca has interpreted she's been flirting with him for weeks
I
and does
mean,
not mention this other guy. So that gives him an opening. He's like right in there. There's another man. Come with me, anyways. I will make you forget him completely.
good luck with that. There's not a lot of people that can make you forget
She's like,
Lan,
no,
King
his
of
sword
the
is bigger than
Malkier
yours.
in exile. At the very least, he knows how to use his sword better.
Absolutely. Valen does not take it well to be rejected, but he turns it into a commitment to find her again one day and win her heart. He has not given up.
We'll
And he
see. We'll
wanders
check
off.
back in eventually and see if that ever comes true.
Yeah. Maybe we will see him one day. First time readers, keep reading to find out. We switch to Elaine's POV then.
Cool.
And this ends the chapter with another entertaining and hilarious scene. This time between her and Sarandon, our shredded trainer. And Brigitte is along for the ride. And this is great because Elaine is going to Sarandon to get her to leave with them. She's saying,
Yeah.
we're going to go. Okay. And yeah, Luca's leaving, but no, we've got a ship. You need to come with us because there are some people we're headed to who will be very interested in meeting and talking with you.
And Sarandon's not like immediately super opposed, but she's got a big concern.
He's like, there's not many ships that can carry Shredded.
You're like, can they come?
No, she doesn't say can. She's like, it's the understanding they would be coming.
Exactly. No, when she says, can they come? It's like, because if they don't, I don't. Like, sorry, not sorry.
Elaine's right there going, oh, yeah, sorry. They won't be able to come, but I'm sure Luca will take good care of them.
In fact, Sarandon does it right. She doesn't say, sorry, I can't come. She says, no, I will not be leaving my elephants.
Yeah, they're kind of important to her. And, well, Elaine's not one to want to take no for an answer. So she pushes. She's like, no, you must come. You don't understand who I am. And she plays her trump card.
It's not a good trump card. Nobody cares.
I am the daughter heir of Andor.
And I'm the Empress herself. Who cares?
The best part is that Sarandon doesn't believe her.
No.
She's like, yeah, nice try. I know you've talked kind of haughty and stuff. Keep working on your attitude. Maybe you'll become a noble someday. But come on. And partly it's because the way she's dressing and doing the stuff on the high wire. No daughter heir would do that.
No, it's unseemly.
So Elaine is really irked at that. So she grabs her. Okay. Nynaeve
We've already
tried
seen
to move
Nynaeve
like this
get her
once.
ass kicked. Yeah.
Yeah. Elaine has been nicer over time to Sarandon. So all she does is basically get her arm twisted up behind her back and you'll be leaving us now. And that's it. End of conversation. And Elaine, when this is done, she turns to Brigitte and said, why did you not help me?
A couple of reasons. One, you weren't in any serious danger. She wasn't going to actually hurt you. Two, you needed that lesson because
you had it coming.
You had it coming, and you needed to learn that people can and will hurt you. Three, I'm not your slave. I'm your warder. I'm here to protect you in these various things, but not to protect your ego when you bully your way into something. And four, it was funny.
And there's a 5. Really? The daughter heir of Andor? Come on, who's going to believe that?
You should. Like, I'm sorry. I know people aren't going to believe that. Brigitte, you could just, like, poof all around the world at one point. Do you not know?
It never came up.
It never came up.
The whole time she's been interacting with Brigitte, Elaine's been in hiding, been incognito. It's never come up that she's royalty.
I want to go a step further of it's never come up when she's observed Forsaken talking, when she's observed other people in Teleron Riyadh, when she's observed the Wise Ones and Elaine or Nynaeve, never has it come up with anyone that she's the daughter or heir of Andor. Nobody cares. Literally no one in this world cares.
And Elaine throws a hissy fit. She
would
literally
too.
just stops, goes, ah!
Okay, it might not do that. But
And Brigitta's like, do you feel better?
for being in control, theoretically future control, but also like an important figure in the geographically largest and one of the economically strongest nations on the continent, and nobody cares or believes you, it's infuriating.
She maybe will need to learn how to better be the daughter heir.
Maybe, and maybe needs to understand a little better what that means to her and how it really carries through, as opposed to what she believes the perceptions of the world has, or what perceptions she even has about it.
I think she's also learned a harsh lesson about spangly hot pants.
That they're comfy as opposed to dresses.
They're not always.
I don't wear dresses
not always
very much.
flattering though. Both Nynaeve and Brigitta take cracks at the size of her rear end. So, all right, chapter 48, leave takings. We're back to Nynaeve's point of view, and she's packing up a few valuables to take with them.
Like what?
Lan's signet ring.
That's valuable.
And her great serpent ring.
Both valuable for a variety of reasons, but both of them more for their significance as to what they mean than what they physically are.
Gems, a bag of actually a container of gems, precious stones from Amathera. What's
Those
that about?
That's the ones that they got from the Panarch that they had freed at the time. That goes back to Tanchico and their time there. It's liquid-ish funds.
Okay. Herbs from Ronde Makura. Man, I'm mangling that name again. Including a particular herb of interest being... What's the special one?
That anti-channeling herb known as forkroot.
Yes. She's got a whole collection of things, including the forkroot. The letter of rights that she still thinks might work.
And you know, depending on who she went to, it might. It's that letter that the Amerlin seat signed to say, hey, give them a bunch of money to like any bank in any major city. Except it was signed by the Amerlin seat Swan Sanche, who's no longer the Amerlin seat. And like, it's debatable as to whether it would work or not, but like, you're still far enough away from Tar Valon that
current events travel slow. Yeah. She gets the remaining coin, notes they've got like less than half of what they started with,
which is still more than Nynaeve had ever seen in her life before leaving the two waivers.
True. The Adam and the silver arrow.
The Adam.
Where'd they get an Adam?
Where did they actually get the Adam? Was that something that they had in Val and Lucas? Was that something that was there?
It was there because Sarandon had it.
Yeah,
they got it from her.
And Elaine's been studying and all that. The silver arrow shouldn't be.
Yeah, she almost doesn't take the silver arrow, but
it shouldn't be in the same way that Brigitta shouldn't be. The world of dreams. This is weird situation where it's like, matter cannot be created nor destroyed. How'd this get here? Physics, what you doing?
Crazy.
There's an explanation there because Robert Jordan knew it's physics, but like, we don't get it.
There's a Quendiar disc.
You mean a seal in the Dark One's prison?
And then 2 Dream Terran Grial that they've carried since Tyr. Where'd they get those?
Those are the ones they got off of the Black Audra that they captured because they had eaten.
Right.
They like basically had each stolen one at one point from the tower. Yep. Do you remember what the shape of these 2 are?
I do not. And it was mentioned in the book, but I didn't write that in the notes.
I don't think either of these is the hedgehog, because the hedgehog was the totally different trap thing.
Right. But I liked how this packing was a nice reminder of many of their encounters over the past months. It was Cute little device Jordan used here in this chapter.
Honestly, it reminds me of the items that you actually write down in your inventory when playing D&D, as opposed to the items that you theoretically have. Like, no one writes down, yeah, I've got 5 torches still, unless they're being weird with how they use their torches. But you write down, yeah, I have this one magic item that I stole off this one person.
There you go. Elaine comes in, grabs her stuff too. I didn't mention it, but they're both grabbing clothing as well. It's kind of important. Elaine seems to be grabbing more clothing than Nynaeve, but Nynaeve's taking her share too. And then
clothing has grown on her.
Yeah, and then they exit the wagon and find Brigida, Tom, and Julin, who have their supplies. The guys seem to not have any clothing other than what they're wearing.
They might have a change of clothes here and there, some fresh socks for if they get in the muck.
Brigida's got some clothing with her. Not as much as these two, but actually a healthy dose. Apparently she does like to look good.
It's also a little surprising she's got a healthy dose, considering she's only been in existence for a week.
But then we see some stuff happen here. They're clearly getting ready to leave, and people from around the menagerie come to wish them well.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, Clarine, comes up to Brigida with more clothes. This is where she's been getting the stuff. Clarine makes the outfits, and she's loved outfitting Brigida.
Partially because Brigida's super down for whatever kind of she's like
everything to its best.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's one point last chapter where she poked fun at Nynaeve, saying, she walked in and Nynaeve like covered up.
I think we'll actually kind of revealing take the neckline lower. Yeah.
And Brigida was like, no, don't do that. You don't want to. I mean, that just draws attention the wrong way. If you want to draw attention, just stick them out a little more. That's what Brigida does. Just thrust the chest. Okay.
I mean, that is the motion when you draw back a bow.
Humorously, Aludra is one of the ones that comes up to them and gives a gift that makes Nynaeve quite nervous. What does she give them?
Matches.
More. 2 more boxes of these fire sticks, yeah.
Which is great. Yeah, it's flammable and you don't want to keep it in the same bag as all of your clothes, because if something goes wrong, you've now burnt all of your clothes. But also, it's really cool and useful. And why are you so scared of this, Nynaeve? You can literally throw a fireball at someone's head.
Only if she's angry.
I'm pretty sure she'd be angry enough if her clothes were on fire.
Unless she's scared. It's valid. The last to see them off is Valen Luca himself, who actually, in front of everybody, comes up and gives Nynaeve a bouquet of wildflowers. Now, they're a little bedraggled, they're kind of sad, but he clearly spent time wandering around the fields, grabbing whatever flowers he could.
Oh, yeah, because we look around and we go, all I see are weeds.
These are the most beautiful weeds he could find, and he presents them to her with flowing words about her beauty, her marvel, her wondrousness, just lays it on so thick. And she's turning redder and redder. She's embarrassed. She's humiliated, but she just takes it. And then he's done. And they leave. And nobody says a word to Nynaeve. They're like, powder keg. Let's not light this.
Nynaeve doesn't like it. Which is to say she doesn't. And also is thinking, why doesn't Lan do these things for me?
Yeah, she's actually getting ticked that Lan has never poured out such affection as this bozo Luca does.
Which also, she's wrong. She's right, but she's wrong. Because that conversation that Rand overheard when he turned her away was some of the most heartfelt, heart-wrenching things that Lan has ever said and meant more than everything Valen Luca just said.
Absolutely true, but all she's focusing on right now is how he's wedded to death.
All she's focusing on is
with Moraine.
What has he done for me lately?
Okay, they're headed to the city now. Galad is with them to lead them to the docks, and Tom and Julin are on either side of him, and then the women are behind them, but flanking all along the sides are all the Shanarans.
Nice.
And as they approach the city itself, they all kind of have their weapons out and ready. Even Brigida has an arrow knocked just in case. Turns out to be a good thing, because when they enter the city, the place is a wreck. Rioters have clearly just been destroying things. There's doors hanging off their hinges. There's flames coming out. There are dead bodies. Okay, it's not been good. But they don't
somebody
see
basically went
anybody.
around and said, "Hey, there's no rules if there's no one left to enforce them." And they said, "Okay, bet."
It's the purge, baby. Let's go.
Kinda.
And there's no one in sight alive. They head toward the docks, though, on the ready, and seeing the state of things, both Nynaeve and Elaine embrace Salidar.
Which means
They've got
Nynaeve's
it.
upset.
Oh yeah. Seeing the condition here and dead people and what's been done to them, that ticks her off. So yeah.
I think there's 3 things ticking her off right now, and she's feeding into all 3 of them. 1 started with getting ticked at land, and she fed that because she instinctively was like, I might need this.
That's fair. I
2,
like it.
She gets in there and sees the chaos and is mad at herself for the fact that this is partially her fault. She can't admit to herself that it's her fault, but she can be mad at herself
I like
anyways.
it. I like
And
that
3,
too. Yeah.
She's also mad at herself again for the fact that there are so many people dead that she couldn't fix. She couldn't heal. She couldn't be there to help all these people. Completely irrational. Of course she couldn't. There's so many people. She couldn't do anything about it.
That's interesting, because she's going to have a very different thought in just a moment. Because as they work their way through the city and they hear the angry buzz of crowds and rioters in the distance, one of these groups comes around a corner, sees them, and charges instantly. There's no hesitation. They come at them. And so here you've got all these guys with all their weapons, and Brigida, and just arrow after arrow after arrow. And the group basically holds them off. And Galad, well, he pretty much kills a whole bunch of them. He's not a hold them off kind of person. He's a flick, flick, flick. Oh, you're on the ground dead kind of person.
The best way to hold them off is to very quickly kill half of them and the other half run away.
When this is all said and done, most people are nicked up, little cuts and stuff, but nobody's severely wounded. And then there's Galad, pristine still.
No one
glistens
even just him a little bit.
The Shanarans are looking at him like, dude, new light here. This guy's impressive.
It's also Uno eyeing him up with his one eye going, yeah, I'm glad we didn't try to take you in that alleyway.
They continue on then, but I want to point out Nynaeve looking at these dead people and a few of them that are wounded, mostly dead, and she's like, dirt. No interest in healing.
Here's the interesting thing. The people who get injured that she sees as these innocent people, she will want to help. And I think we'll see that as we keep looking forward. But people who she sees as they brought this onto themselves, they are attacking. They are the problem. They are the aggressors. She kind of channels some of her anger towards them too to help keep her channeling.
I'm watching the current season of The Witcher right now. I've watched the 5 episodes that are out.
Okay.
Nynaeve would not make a good Witcher.
No.
Neutrality, impartiality. Yeah, she doesn't have that.
Granted,
I will help you. You suck. Die.
To be honest, a lot of times, the person that we all think is the best Witcher doesn't make a good Witcher for the same reason.
Yeah, all right.
So maybe she'd be fine.
Have you watched those episodes yet, by the way?
I have not yet.
They're good and not good. Adaptation. They've done some things. But they're doing some things that are not bad as well. Like they are playing into the time of contempt. Is in there, as well as the conclave of... No,
words are hard.
It's not the right word. Anyways.
I have not actually gotten all the way through the books yet because I took a break at one. I took a break at one point and never actually got back to them, so they're still partially on my shelf.
Yeah, you do that thing. That's right.
Which to me is okay because it means I think I'll actually enjoy the show more when I watch it. and then I'll go and read the books and I'll enjoy the books better anyways, and it's fine. But I won't be disappointed by the show. Rather, I'll just, in retrospect, be like, the show could have been better.
Yeah, there's been enough shifts happening here now that I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of glad this is the last season of The Witcher.
It's not the last season of The Witcher.
No, it's
but it's
the last
season of The Witcher.
Yeah. Okay. They continue on, dinged up except for Galad, and they run into a squad of white cloaks. And Galad just has a few words, and now they have a new addition to their guard. And this bigger group now continues on, doesn't have any issue, makes it to the docks. And then Galad, hey, here's our guys.
Well, and here's the thing. A group of 12 guys, yeah, our group of 20 could take them. A group of 40 guys, none of the other groups are going to try and take them.
Yeah, exactly. He rushes Nynaeve and Elaine right onto the boat. It's like, I have delivered you.
Whoop.
This was my job.
Job's over.
Nynaeve, as she's been dragged forward, she's looking to the side. She sees a whole group of refugees there. Men, women, children. And they look, help us. And there's white cloaks holding them back from the ship. But before she can do anything about that, she sees Galad having an argument with the captain. He's like, hey, wait. You paid me for 2 women. What's with this whole crowd of people? And Nynaeve and Elaine get into it going, hey, they all come. We have money. We will pay. We'll make it happen.
Look, at the end of the day, do you want to stay here?
Yeah, Nynaeve has to get a little pushy, but she gets her way. And then she goes next level. He starts letting them all board. He says, great. And then he tells Galad, okay, now get your white cloaks out of here and we'll be on our way. And Galad's like, fine. And Nynaeve's like, but wait, we need everybody on board, and points at the refugees. He's like, I give alms on Sunday. I'm not a charity service every day.
We don't take no freeloaders.
She's like, we will make it worth your time. He's like, I'm not. And she goes all wisdom on him. She gets in his face. She looms big. Thunderhead Nynaeve. And he's like, yes, ma'am.
Now
he backs down, and they all get on board.
I have a not so interesting semantics question. Do these people count as refugees yet?
Like if they're from a riotous city.
But if they're from Samara and they're still in Samara, do they count as refugees until they flee?
As soon as they get on the boat, yes, they are.
Yeah, but while they're waiting for the boat and they're not on it, they're just like in a panic in their city, right?
Fair. Okay.
Technically.
As everyone boards, Nynaeve takes a moment then to go thank Galad. Elaine comes with. Just some minor meaningless words back and forth there, but then Galad says something, a final word of parting, and he says, Nynaeve, stay clear of Rand al'Thor. He brings destruction. He will break the world again before he is done. Stay clear of him. And then Galad's out.
So a couple of things there. One, he's probably right. Like, he's right. 2, Nynaeve's not going to listen. Not really. And 3, Galad just told us that he wholeheartedly does believe that Rand al'Thor is the Dragon Reborn.
And these comments verify that when he says he will break the world again. He's leaning into that. Elaine's sitting there hearing these words and looks kind of flustered. Why would that be?
I know I don't really like you, but I was really hoping you would kind of get around to liking this Rand al'Thor, Galad.
This is my boyfriend.
But hey, you never told me I had to stay away from him. You just told Nynaeve.
And Galad, if only you fully understood. But
that's
we can't talk more about that right now.
A much, much later day.
So Galad had shared with Nynaeve. He paid their fare halfway to Camelin. That's all he could do. He trusts they'll be able to make their way from there. And the chapter ends with Nynaeve noting that surely he doesn't suspect. They have no intention of returning to Camelin. What do you think, Zach? Did he know, so he only arranged fare part way because they're not going to Camelin? Or is Nynaeve right and he just has no idea? What do you think?
I think it's a very like safe, easy thing to be like, yeah, he doesn't really know. But I think it's more Galad trying to do the right thing again, while doing his duty. Two ways. Going, hey, one, I can't condone you not going back. I think it's the right thing for you to go back. But I know you believe you're doing something important, and I know that might actually be true. So I'm going to make a kind of caveat in here, going only halfway, so that maybe you go like I think you should, but maybe you go to this other thing that maybe you should do, as well as this little piece going, things have been funky. I don't know exactly what's going on in Camelin. I'm not positive it's the safest place for you. So I still think you should go. But if I just send you there without knowing what's going on or being able to go with you myself, I can't verify your safety.
So I'll leave some options.
Let's do a half measure, and I can catch up with you, and maybe we can get to Camelin together. So I think he's doing the best way he can meet his various duties.
I will say, I think Galad Damodred is a smarter dude than people give him credit for.
And I think for as black and white as he seems to see the world, he is a lot more complex than people initially give him credit for.
When he goes the gray, he does it very intentionally, and he finds a way to justify it for himself. So it still feels like a black and white decision.
In case you couldn't tell, I think we're actually kind of Galad stands on this podcast, but Gawain can go die in a corner.
Absolutely. Abysmally. All right, that is the end of the chapter. That is the end of this episode. If you are a first-time reader, this is when you get out, because we're about to spoil a couple of things. So thanks for watching. Look at all the notes of how you can connect with us, and we'll talk to you, first-time reader, next time. For the rest of you...
The Spoiler Room. The Spoiler Room.
It was like 1.85 times.
I hit the button. It ignored me. All right, I'm rolling the monster die today.
I'm rolling the funny little liquid core koi pond die that I got at Jordan Con. It's very pretty. I'm also probably going to get more dice tomorrow because I'm going to a convention here in town.
I got a 10.
What you got? I got an 18.
Crap. What convention are you going to tomorrow?
RTX. It's the Rooster Teeth Expo. It's a number of fun, nerdy things in the film, video game, RPG,
Get some
settings.
live footage, and we can put it up here.
May or may not, depending upon a number of things, but
rules.
The biggest thing that we're actually going for, Rach and I, is Dungeons and Daddies, her favorite podcast. Is going to be there.
Okay.
And being kind of involved in that community, which is going to be a great time.
Got it. All right, what you going to spoil?
So I have to go for some low-hanging fruit because you blatantly highlighted it.
Don't take mine.
Galad.
Oh.
It's actually Rand's older half-brother.
You suck, man.
And so whenever he's like, hey, stay away from this guy, it's like, stay away from my half-brother, who's not blood related to you, Elaine, but also like is blood related to me, and I'm blood related to you. So he's kind of related to you, but not really in any way, shape, or form. So it's not weird, but it's kind of weird. But eventually we'll get to a point where we like don't like each other, but mutually respect each other, kind of. And so it's like, hey, you do your thing, and I'm going to do my thing. We both know each other's things are necessary, and we both recognize that we're brothers, but we don't see each other as brothers, per se. Galad and Gawain are brothers. Galad and Rand are, they're estranged relatives.
All right. Fair enough.
Anyways, what are you going to do now?
Oh, I'm going with the other low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
Yes, we will see Valen Luca and the menagerie again.
When?
And we see them for an interminable amount of time when Matt Cawthon will join up with them with some Aes Sedai in hiding, as well as some escaped Damane and Tuon.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a mess, and
Understood.
but they're also entertaining. And Luca and his people, they're still there. They're still doing their thing.
I just want to point out how sometimes I'm kind of clever on accident. It was after I made the comment that I realized it was leaving Ebu Dar that they've run into him again. After I made the comment about him potentially having slept with someone with a marriage knife, which is the custom there. So, like, it works out, but it was...
They weren't in Ebu Dar. The menagerie wasn't in
No,
Ebu
but it
Dar.
was Ebu Dar adjacent. It makes sense to me if
It's
Vel
a
and Luca
nice
has
theory.
a scorned
It's a nice
woman there,
theory that
so
they
he
were
couldn't
headed
actually
away.
go to Ebu
They
Dar.
were even that they were headed away from Ebu Dar because maybe Luca got in trouble. And
I'm just saying, certain people in the nobility have some interesting tastes. Maybe
now people who are first time readers have no idea what Ebu Dar.
yeah, but
Knives?
people who are
What?
first time readers shouldn't be here.
No, you should not. All right, that was fun. Thank you everybody for being with us. I'm going to play our outro here now and highlight a few things. I really want to again point people to Discord. We've had some people joining us recently in Discord. The numbers are growing again. It's a great place to hang out, talk with people who like fantasy, science fiction, and cats and dogs.
I like dogs.
Yeah, also
Cats are
our
okay.
Patreon page. It does cost us some money to run this show, to host hosting fees, equipment, and
I
stuff.
got a cool new mic.
Right, and people who support us, thank you. Go to our Patreon page to find out how you can do that. And you get some perks. And then, of course, find us on social media, Twitter, Mastodon, Facebook, Threads.
That's the bad pern thing, right?
It is. Unfortunate name. All right, that's all we got. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you next time.